folks. Mark here. Y'all know how I do cook the books and bring you the info. So, real quick, I just want to say real quick. So, y'all know I'm always researching, always on my minding my business. So, check this out. Like in a lot of cultures, traditions, religions, salt has been famously known for being a purification, for purifying, cleansing, and removing certain energies from around you, right? If you really want to go even more esoteric with it, it's been said that salt is a deterrent of evil spirits. It is a repellent of subtle bodies, subtle energies, subtle entities that exist in our atmosphere. So I've read that, I've heard that, I've read that, I've heard that, I've read that. So I was like, I'm a curious. I have a very heuristic, I like that word, heuristic, Heuristic, heuristic. I think that's how you spell it, and it simply means a curious mind, right? Something that stimulates you to further your investigation. I have that kind of mindset, very heuristic, very curious, and I see something, I lock onto it, and I got to do the etymological research. I got to do the scholastic research. I got to like, I just can't take a shallow, ankle high definition. I got to go deep sea diving. I got to go way out into the infested oceans and find something else. So I said, all right, let me find out what's going on with salt. You know what I mean? Let's look into this whole thing. Let's see what's the mystique, the mysticism. And interestingly enough, it led me to information that I had previous knowledge of. Like all the information that I found out was stuff that I already had studied maybe 2, 3 years, 4 years ago. And that is, it led me to the periodic table, obviously, right? It led me to the periodic table. And Dmitri Medvedev found, the father of the periodic table. I think it was the 19th century sometime he put it together, which consists of, I think, 118 elements. That is supposedly the constituent parts of the entire universe. And so it took me back there, and I said, "Wow, okay, this is stuff that I'm already familiar with." So I dived in. I continued to do my swimming out into the ocean. I'm swimming into I'm deep sea. I'm going out there. So as I venture out, and I start to go a little lower, and I descend and descend, I found that okay, so salt is an inorganic meaning not found in living matter, inorganic compound meaning a conjugation of two elements, sodium and chloride. Okay, so let's break down sodium. What is the sodium? I think sodium belongs to the alky metal. Okay, alky metals are all the metals on the first group of the periodic table, the alky metal families. The alky metals are they neutralize. They have a neutralizing effect. They neutralize acids. pH, woman's pH balance, perfect pH is 7. Anything below that is acidic. Anything above that is alkalinity. And again, you want to be above 7. That means there's more alkaline than there's acid, so there's a neutralizing effect. So sodium falls in the neutralizing state. It's a key feature or character of sodium. It has a neutralizing and neutralization. It neutralizes sodium, salt. Okay. But it's a compound, so we're not talking about by itself. So now we have the compound is chlorine. Chlorine, okay, interesting. So sodium and chlorine combines salt, right? Uh, so this is interesting, right? So chlorine now, when chlorine combines with sodium, and it's called sodium chloride. It no longer is called chlorine, it's called chloride. The reason why it's called chloride is because it attracts an electron from the sodium. So sodium is electropositive. In other words, electropositive means an element is readily gives up its electron. So sodium gives up its electron, it goes into a state of electropositivity. It's positively charged. Chlorine, on the other hand, takes the electron from sodium, forms what's called an ionic bonding. Ionic bonding means they come together, and they unite. So in the unification, the conjugation of these two elements, sodium chloride, you have what's called electropositive sodium, electronegative chlorine. Because of their opposite charges, we all know the basic laws of magnet, opposites attract. Because of their their state in terms of magnetism, one is positively charged, the other one is negatively charged. Strong bond, ionic bonding. This is the definition of ionic bonding. Okay, so we're getting somewhere. Now let's further delve, investigate, scrutinize this chloride element. So chloride now, what's its features? Okay, so chloride is, in terms of the elements of the periodic table, chloride is the third highest electronegative. It has the third highest electronegativity. Electronegativity is a tendency of an element to attract electrons to itself. Let's say that one more time. Electronegativity means the tendency of an element or an atom to attract electrons to itself. It has the third highest of all on the periodic table. This is chlorine we're talking about, chloride. Chlorine, chloride, same difference. Uh, now, so it has the third highest electronegativity, and it is ranked number one. It is ranked the first highest electron affinity. Hmm. Electron. I know what affinity means. You know, affinity is a liking for something or someone. I have an affinity for ice cream. It just simply means, it's a very fundamental definition. It just means you like something. That's what affinity means. Ethnic affinity. I like black people, right? You have an ethnic affinity. But electron affinity. Now we're talking about chemistry, so definitions can be contextually different. So affinity, I don't know what it means in terms of its chemical contextual definitions. I looked into this now with deep sea. We're going deep. Told y'all, stay with me. If you can't swim, go back. If you can't breathe, you're about to drown, head back. Those of you who want to, let's go. So electron affinity simply means this. In lay terms, it means the amount of energy that is exerted or spent or released to attract an electron. Let's say that one more time. It's the energy that an element, an atom has on available energy to draw an electron. So it's kind of like, if we're talking about finance, we're talking about discretionary funds, right? Money that you can splurge. How much discretionary funds do you have? Do you have enough to just go on to vacation around the block, or do you have enough to vacation around the world, right? So electron affinity is the amount of reserved energy an atom or element has to draw an electron to itself. Now, the interesting thing is chloride is number one. It has the highest electron affinity. That means it has the highest amount of energy in terms of the table to draw an electron to itself. Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. This lights are going off. I'm having like mental orgasms, right? Like I'm having all kind of multiple orgasms in my psyche right now. Okay, so because it has its third highest in terms of electronegativity, which is the tendency to draw electrons to itself, and it's number one in terms of electron affinity, which is the storage energy or the reserved capital cash energy to draw an electron. So chlorine, which is a version or I guess you can call it an isotope of, yeah, chloride would be an isotope of chlorine. But yeah, so whatever. Anyway, so this chlorine thing draws a lot of electrons. Now, electrons are negatively charged chemistry, folks, one on one. And chloride is the third highest in terms of electronegativity and the first highest in terms of the energy needed to draw the electron. So chloride is it has an excellent absorption factor or an appeal. It has an appeal factor. It has a high appeal factor in terms of attracting, pulling. It has immense, tremendous amount of pull for electrons, which are negatively charged particles. Folks, stay with me. We're getting somewhere. Now, sodium. Now, one more thing. The electronegativity of an atom is determined by the core nucleus. The higher charged the nucleus, the higher the electronegativity. Now, stay with me. So sodium, we found out, is a neutralizer because of its constituent component parts, which is alkyl metal. Alkyl metal, again, neutralizes perfect pH balance, neutralizes 1 to 14. You want to have 7. 1 to 14 is interesting too, folks. When I found that, I was like, wait a minute. I saw that in spiritualism. I was studying some spiritual stuff the other day, and I found out that we exist on 4. I put up a video. We exist on 14 planes. Earth is the 7th, which is Yeah, Earth. No, Earth is in the middle. Excuse me. Earth is in the middle, and there's 14 planes, seven up, seven down. Now I see this pH scale. The pH scale is the same thing: seven up, seven down. The lower seven is acidic. The higher seven is alkalinity, neutralizers. But we'll go into that. I don't want to digress too much, but I am starting to the interwoven, the interconnectedness, the all things are connected is starting to hit me. But let's stay focused. So we see sodium is a neutralizer. That's its key component element. It neutralizes. This is why salt are used for preserve. They're preservatives, right? They preserve foods and so on and so forth. So sodium is an excellent neutralizer. Chlorine is an excellent attract puller of electrons, which is negatively charged particles. We're starting to get somewhere. So let's go into spiritualism now. Let's go out of chemistry and jump into some spiritual uh, or theological. In the subtle plane, subtle realms, we have subtle bodies, astral bodies, subtle energy. So negative energy is called black energy, which I wonder who named it that, but let me not digress. So black energy, this dark energy, which is negatively charged, and these are called subtle bodies. And if you go into spiritualism, they call them ghosts, ghouls, goblins, duppies, demons, and dark forces, entities that have some form of consciousness, but not a physical body because they're stuck in the astral plane or in the subtle plane. This is why. So we see why if we connect this, if you think with me here, use the noggin. This is why salt is said in many traditions, practices, and religions and cultures. This is why salt is said to be an excellent repellent of dark energies, of subtle bodies, demons, ghosts, ghouls, goblins, monsters, whatever creatures, whatever you want to call them. This is why salt is used in many cultures as a repellent, right, of the negative energies, whether it's on you. This is why people take showers or take baths with salt, rock salt mainly, or some kind of salt. And this is why people say, put salt around your house to help cleanse your house of negative energies. It now makes sense. Because if you're an evil spirit, you're a ghost, ghoul, and a goblin. If you come in contact with this, the the elements of the soul, right? If you come in contact with the properties of the soul, according to chemistry, salt absorbs, which is remember the compound element, chloride. Chloride is a great absorber. It pulls you. So if you're a ghost and you come close to this chloride, it's going to drag you in. It's going to suck you in because of its magnetic pull. Remember, it has an attractive pull, so it pulls electrons. Electron affinity, electronegativity. Rewind the video. I just gave you an explanation of that. So it does a lot of pulling for the negative energy. Then sodium that works with it, because they're a compound element, sodium neutralizes. So so the chloride does the pulling, says, hey, you come here, grabs you. Sodium says, once we got you, now we're going to neutralize you. Boom, you're done. Neutralization can be termed cancelization. We cancel you. We offset you. We offset you. We nullify you. Null and void. So sodium is the one that nullifies, cancels, offsets, neutralizes. Chloride is the one that captures, grabs you, brings you, and together they work to capture and then neutralize. Till next time. Mark here. Throw some salt in the air. Salt it up. Peace.